Hey fam, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. I know it's been a little over 40 days since I've last spoken to you guys, but I hope that you guys had a great Lent. I know it's it was probably one of the most difficult Lents we've ever experienced, just because of course, the coronavirus and being on lockdown, and this quarantine thing is definitely new for a lot of us. But yeah, so I'm just hoping that you guys are doing well. I know it's been really hard. It's been a trial for a lot of us, and I know it's been a moment where a lot of us have felt we are stuck. We're deep in our thoughts, and I'm with you, brothers and sisters. I'm with you guys. It's been tough for me as well. When I started this Lenten journey, I didn't expect. Obviously, we all didn't expect for what to happen, but I knew it was going to be difficult. I just knew, especially because of what I was offering, in a way of giving up and receiving as well. It's been it's I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. I hate being locked up in like my own house. I don't like being home as it is, just because I know I get really lazy, and I don't do anything. So it's been really difficult, especially because both of my jobs have kind of, like the school, I'm still working with the kids, and then my other job, which some of you guys know, I work at Staples. I've only been basically working like once a week. I'm sorry. So it's been a trial. It's been difficult, but you know what? As a family, my parents, my sister, been very supportive. We've been very supportive of each other. Anything, we've been really sticking together at this moment, which is something that I was really excited and blessed about. But anyway, so going forward, so yeah, so I'm here to kind of give you guys a little, good thing as well with, it's Good Friday. It's, God is God is coming to us soon, and Jesus is gonna rise, and we are expecting that on Sunday, and this is what we're getting ready for. So as you guys know, today is the veneration of the crucifixion, right? So we are here to I am here to kind of talk to you guys a little bit. Jennifer, who is my youth director, shout out Jennifer, yay. We've been kind of working on some things with IC. I know IC would kind of shut things down, and pretty much all the churches shut things down. And we were working on something and some videos, and then retreats next weekend. We're still doing that, so stay tuned for that. It's just gonna be online, but I'm also gonna. And then she approached me with something that I've done years in the past, but I just haven't done recently. It's been I would say about 3-4 years since I've done this talk, and of course, it's gonna be on the Stations of the Cross. So, some of you guys have gone to Mass and the service of Stations of the Cross, and sat through there. I've gone through each station reading a prayer, and basically, through the years of me being in confirmation, me being in ministry, I've learned that a lot of the teens or a lot of the youth, and even some adults, don't understand quite what's happening in the Stations of the Cross. And not that that's wrong. It's just it can be a struggle, right, of understanding things, and that's the problem. I think is that if you don't understand something, you might not totally believe it or agree with it. So what I started to do, with the help of Father Ron Clark, he kind of like helped me break this down a little bit, and we've been talking, working, and even with Jennifer, Martin, and Shannon as well, when they were my youth ministers back in the day. They were, in a way, kind of like also helped me out, and we would talk about it, and we'd break the stations down, and we'd see what are some things that the kids don't understand, and we try to relate to nowadays. So what I started to do, and I'm sure other young adult leaders or leaders in the church also did this as well, but I did this for my kids because, again, I started to see that they didn't understand the Stations of the Cross, or didn't know what was really happening. So what I started to do during confirmation is I started to kind of give small talks and about Stations of the Cross as we got closer to land, of course. And I started to break down each station. So with that, I'm going to do that with you guys here today. Hopefully keep this nice and short with you guys. Don't want to keep you guys too long, since you guys are busy people. What's the joke? Okay. But with that, so I'm going to start off with the prayer. We're going to go through each station. I'm just kind of break it down a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, so that we get a better understanding of what's happening. And I'm going to relate, and I'm going to try my best to relate to what's happening now to everyone, so that you guys have a better understanding of the Stations of the Cross. I always found it very, very helpful, to break something down and then go through the process. So what we used to do was we would break the Stations of the Cross down, right? That's when I came in and break it down to the teens, and then we'd the following week we'd go into the actual prayer of Stations of the Cross, but with a better understanding of what's happening, a better maybe be able to relate a little more so that we can understand. But with that, so I'm going to start off with a reading from the Bible. Okay, and then I will go into each station, kind of breaking it down as much as possible for you guys. And so in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. So this is the temptation of Jesus. So obviously we just finished the 40 days, and now we are back home, and we are coming and we are preparing ourselves for Jesus' return. So with that, so this is Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. So then the temptation of Jesus. So then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city. Took him to the holy city, placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He who commands his angels concerning you, and in their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord our God to the test." Again the devil took him up to a very high mountain and showed him the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. He said to him, "All this I will give you if you fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came down and waited on him. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this last 40 days, we've been in a desert. Like literally just because of everything that's been happening, of being locked down and being shut out from the whole world. It's like being in the desert alone. And also being tempted by the devil. Right? So it's been such a journey, this whole 40 days and 40 nights. It's been such a journey. A lot of it, for me personally, a lot of it has been a struggle. Like a lot of it, like I said, I get really, when I'm at home, just most of the time I'm alone, I get really stuck in my own thoughts. I lose myself. And that's something that I'm, fighting as well to better myself. And there's other demons that I'm trying to beat. And I know that I can't do that by myself. If you're ever stuck in these situations as well, and I'm sure we've been, that you can't do these things by yourself. You pride yourself and fill your mind saying that, yes, I can do this, I'm going to do this, I'm independent, I'm very strong, I have the will to do it all. Great. but there's a certain extent and there's a certain extent in life of your path that you can't do on your own. Like you just can't. Like a train cannot ride without its conductor and its engineer. Like it just doesn't work. So we're taught as Catholics, we're brothers and sisters. We're taught to be together. We can't do this without God. We this society has taught us that we need to do everything on our own and don't help other people, because people won't help you and they're not feeding your mouths and this and that. And look, we're taught to be selfless. We're taught to help others no matter the situation. There's a time and place. There's a time and place where you might have felt like you did it by yourself, but you had a helping hand. You had it all. But it's been a struggle, and I understand that. Trust me, I'm there every single day. The day I was 16 years old, and I decided to continue my faith and journey in confirmation in this Catholic world, I endured this path and I loved it. But I knew with that there was going to be a lot of bad things also coming my way. I'm going to lose a lot of people. And I did. It saddened me, but through life I got stronger and I started to understand why people didn't want to be a part of my life. I didn't like it, but I understood why it happened. So, as we continue, we're going to start off with the first stations. So Jesus is condemned to death. It's the first station. So just right off the bat, we start to think, whoa. Like, what do you feel? What do you see? Like, that's crazy. Like, this dude, like, if you place yourself there, this guy is going to be condemned to death. Like, some people may seem that very unjustice-like, right? Because that's like, why would you kill someone for what they believe or for what they know? So when he was brought to Pilate, a lot of us, he was kind of like, I'm not lying. Why would I be punished for something that I'm telling the truth on? So, how do we see that now? Like, we see a lot of people be imprisoned for false accusations. We see a lot of people get fired for someone else's mistakes. We see a lot of injustice in this world. Like, a lot of it. And it becomes scary. Like, people don't understand how scary that is until they're put in that situation. So we decide to just, that's not my life. It's cool. Like, I don't have to worry about that because it's not me. No, like, but see, we all are. We're supposed to all be together. Like, we're supposed to be able to defend each other, not fight against each other. And it's sad to see the world fighting against each other. And that was never God's intention for us to fight each other. And it's an awful thing, but it's there. And I know a lot of people may disagree with me. A lot of people may agree with me. But there wasn't a lot of people on Jesus' side. I mean, a lot of these things that we do and we endure and we stick together on what we're supposed to stick together on, it's a lot of it's just out of fear, and we're taught to trust in God, but we're human. And we make mistakes. So just imagine, right? Like, not Jesus, but your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, someone that you love that is close to you, being crucified for something that wasn't their fault. Just imagine that your parents are being crucified for being an illegal immigrant. Just imagine your parents are being crucified, or your mom and dad being crucified because they're gay, or because their skin tone doesn't match the appearance for someone else. But it's there, and it's real. So these are some things that we need to be careful on, and as we're going through this, as Jesus resurrects for us on Easter, we need to realize, and probably from here on out put together, that we don't need to push each other like that. We need to start to be able to fight and understand and stay together. And then really stay together, and definitely in prayer. So the second station is Jesus takes up his cross. Now, well, he has no other choice but to take that cross. So it's crazy, right? This cross, from what stories I've heard and from things I've been told, and obviously in the movies that you've seen, and Passion of the Christ and stuff like that, in Passion of the Christ they try to get so close into what happened in real life. And of course we won't fully know the whole extent of it, but we've gotten pretty good about an idea of what happened, right? The Bible tells us, and this cross, when I was told, is humongous. So I picture Jesus being this 6'2", 6'3", skinny, just kind of just ripped at the same time. He's skinny because he walked a lot, but and he just this long hair, great beard like mine, and he's a pretty tall guy. I think he's a 6'2", 6'3", right, type of guy, and this cross is enormous, huge cross. But they decided to put him on there because why not? This is the only cross we had, so let's put him on there. So they nailed this. They nailed his feet together. And then they tied their hands, right? So every time they had to poke, when they put the nail in his hand, they had to tie him because they would just slip out. Because it's pretty much like all cartilage in your hand, right? Very little bone, pretty much all cartilage. So. And then one side or the other didn't reach, so they had to pull his hand, his arm out of his socket because his hand couldn't reach to the hole. So they, he was off by this much. They're like, no, we gotta get him. So they pulled him, and nails were this big and just that pretty thick, and it's it's before this was, this is where he was beaten. Before all this, he was beaten, which is intense. But he was beaten. So, as Christians in the faith, as Catholics, how do we take and how do we bear the cross? The question is, do you take the cross with you everywhere? Or do you just leave it at home or at church? When I started my faith journey, I left it at church. I did. Because I was scared. I was too scared to know what people thought of me. And then I started to learn that this is more than just what they thought of me. It was more of what I thought of myself. So I started to take the cross everywhere I went. School, with my friends, to the parties, when I go on trips, work. And little by little, people started to kind of see the change in me. You know, I didn't want to stay out so late anymore. I didn't want to party as much. I didn't want to do the crazy nonsense that I did in high school. And then little by little, you get those nicknames, church boy, or hey, altar server, just kind of things like that. And I lost in touch with a lot of people, and it was more of like their choice. It wasn't really mine. It was just more like, I wanted to hang out with you, but I just can't be doing these things anymore. I just can't. I can't. So I started to carry him and take my cross with I went. And I got whooped. I got beaten a lot. I got called names a lot. But I understood why people did that. Sometimes you fear what you don't understand. And I accepted it, and I understood that I was going to lose a lot. I was going to lose a lot of people. And all the great people stood by me. And they're still by me. And I love it. I meet, I meet thousands and hundreds and thousands of people through my life, and I meet a new person every single day. Well, not now, but I've been blessed to be able to meet and have friends of different faith and different backgrounds and different crosses that they carry. So I hope that you guys will take your cross with you and always have it with you. So the third station, Jesus falls for the first time. So when I saw and heard this for the first time, I myself couldn't believe it. So you mean to tell me that Jesus himself fell? No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't happen. It's not supposed to happen. Well, then I started to think, wait, but he was a man. He knew what it was to feel pain, to feel love, to understand and to see why men do what they do. He endured what it was to be a man, but a human being as well. So we started to put these things together, and we're just like, whoa. It's crazy to think that Jesus himself fell. Yeah, he was nearly beaten to death. He has to carry this 200-pound cross by himself to where they're going to crucify him. Yes, of course he's gonna fall. He was a human being. He was man. Then we start to think how many people in our lives have fallen, and do we help? How many homeless people do we see out in the streets, and do we actually help? Even if it's a quarter, a dollar, the coat off your back, the shoes off your feet, the hat off your head, the umbrella. I know it's hard sometimes to give money to homeless people or people on the streets. I know it is. Especially if you're financially struggling yourself. I know it is. But more so the fact that we don't know what they're going to do with that money, and that's a struggle that we need to face, and we need to understand that we don't know where that person is. Maybe they're truly hungry and they really want to get some food. But are we willing to be those type of Christians to help that person? Help someone that's really in need? Do it out of, I don't know, just being yourself, do it out of being great, do it out of being happiness, do it just out of love. I try to be and do everything in my life, day to day, out of love. I try my hardest. It's hard. It's really hard when you have some people out there that don't want to give you that, or don't accept, or it make it even harder. It's hard. I know it is. But continue to show them love no matter what. Continue to show them love. So fourth station. Jesus meets his mother. Oh man. I couldn't bear to have my mother see me struggle. It's crazy. When mama knows, mama knows. When they know, they just have this instinct that there's something wrong with my baby. It's crazy. It's crazy to like. It might sound superstitious. It might sound like Jerry's just tripping. Nah, for real. It was when I had. I'm gonna tell you this. It's crazy. This is the worst thing. I'm gonna put my business out there. When I had my first big breakup, right, with an ex-girlfriend, it was like World War III. It was crazy. It was crazy because, my mom like that. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you haven't been your normal self. Like, you're not happy. You're not loud and obnoxious. You're just like, you're faking it. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, no, I understand where you're at. Like, and she's like trying to understand where I'm at. She's like, what's wrong? What happened? Girlfriend, this and that. She kind of knew. She's like, and after that, it was just like, she recognized it's like left and right. I'm like, dang, like, are you, but it's not her about being nosy. It's just she's being my mom. Like, she's being a mother. So I took that and I'm like, dang, I can't hide nothing from this woman. Nothing. So then I started to think, like, man, like, Mary knew what was going to happen. She cried, she prayed, but she knew that this had to be done. And she saw her son carrying this cross and bleeding and just struggling to walk and hold his breath and struggling to breathe. And she knows that she can't do anything but to just watch and pray that he's strong enough to push forward. Like, mama, like, my mama would have whooped somebody. Somebody. But Mary was strong enough to know and understand why he was doing that. A mother's intuition is always going to be the biggest thing. A father will never understand. Nobody. Just nobody. Your own mother will know what you're going through. But it's crazy, but it's so beautiful. It saddens when we have a lot of, unloving relationships with mothers and their daughters and then their sons. We need our fathers as much as we need our mothers, if not even more. Mothers are the queen of this universe. They show us how to love. They give us intuition to give us that feminine side of their son and daughter. They show us how to love and embrace people out of love. It's crazy, It's just something that I know that the day will come, and I don't know what I would do. And I know Jesus would love to bury his mom, not the other way around. But Jesus had a bigger plan. And Jesus knew that his plan was going to save his mom. If that's the case, sign me up. Because I would do that in an instant. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. I know. It's you know, this Stations of the Cross always gets to me. You know, if I start to break down, please, excuse me, but I won't compose myself. Fifth station. Simon helps Jesus. Now, so picture this, right? So you see this crowd, you know, in a way cheering for Jesus, but to be crucified. And you know, and you know, Simon is this man that's standing off to the side, and he's like, this is insane, this is crazy, like, why would this, you know? And then he's kind of forced to help Jesus, and he's just like, whoa, wait, I don't even know this man, like, I don't know who he is. But it's like, who are you know, at that time, are you gonna tell the guards, like, no, you be whooped and crucified yourself too? Alright, well, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to help this guy now. Right? So he helps him, and he's enduring, like, he's watching this guy, and, you know, I pictured, you know, Simon to be this big dude, just, you know, willing to just, you know, just strong guy, right? And I'm just like, whoa, that's intense. That's pretty cool. So he's helping him, but the whole time, like, you start to think, what am I going to get out of this? If I help him, I get. If I don't help him, I'm gonna get whooped. If I do help him, what are the chances of me not getting whooped? I'm probably gonna get whooped at the end of this. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just, you know. So he started to do it, and then we start to think, like, man, we as humans don't help each other as much as we'd like to. But then we struggle. Let's go back a little bit. We struggle to help people. And then when we do it, we're just like, oh, that was good. I like that. Like, you know, like, I can do this. I can do community service for my city, for my church, for my school. Turns out to be a really, really good thing. You know, and then we start to see, you know, that Simon is helping Jesus route this, and then you could only take so much from a person that's abusing someone else. And you start to see that, and you start to get angry, right? How many bullying, for example, happens all the time. We lose a lot of beautiful young children to that. How many of us are willing to stand up and say, you know, take the punishment with your friend? You know, Simon didn't realize what he was doing until he picked up that cross and walked literally with Jesus the entire way. Jesus said, thank you for the light. Thank you for the hand, my friend. Thank you. It's crazy. Simon, you're the man. You're the man, my friend. You're the man. So the sixth station we have, Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. So at this point, right, like, you know, he's bleeding all over the place. He can't see. His eyes are, you know, he bleeding all the blood, and just, and then you have this woman, Veronica, that loves and admires Jesus. Grabs a towel and wipes his face. Like, the fact that she went knowing that she can be persecuted for helping someone that's already going to be crucified. She stuck her life out for someone else. That's incredible. That's insane, the fact that someone is willing to do that. You know, when the Gabriel Fernandez documentary came out on Netflix, I I was crazy when that happened. I remember that, and then I started watching, and I just, I just couldn't believe, like, so many people that could have stopped this from happening. Like, it should have never gone that far. It just shouldn't have. So I watched it, and it just saddened me. I cried a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And I start to think, because I work with special needs at Doherty High, and I started to realize and start to see, like, dang, like, am I doing my part? Am I making sure that my kids are safe? It puts so much perspective in my life, and I started to kind of put everything together. And I started to check myself with everything, and put myself out there for the voices that couldn't speak. I started to speak for them. I started to defend them. And it was beautiful. It was. And I started to reminisce of the times that I didn't do that. I wish I did. But I am now. I'm going to continue to fight for those voices that can't speak, and yeah. The seventh station, Jesus falls for the second time. So you mean to tell me that Jesus fell once? Not once, but twice? I don't know. That sounds like me. Sounds like something that I might do. Just fail all the damn time. Make mistakes left and right. Sounds like me. Yeah. But there's no way that Jesus can fall twice. We're taught to be very independent. That's good. But it's also very scary, because we stop asking and talking to people. We stop looking for help. We start to try to endure everything ourselves. And that's probably not the best thing, because we start to push people away, family away. And we start to realize that being independent isn't the key. God is the key. Jesus is our key. Mary is our key. Think about that. Think about that. So number 8 is my favorite, my personal favorite. So number 8 is Jesus meets with the women of Jerusalem. For this station, I know and believe my grandmother, may she rest in peace, both of them. My grandmother, who, from my father's side, is the reason why I am in the position that I am now. I'll tell you why. So, my grandmother was probably, other than my mother, of course, was probably the most supportive and understanding and happy and like always pushing me when I decided to start to go to church and practice my faith. Oh, it was every time, I had, my grandmother passed away a few years ago, and every time I talked to her, it was always, hola mijo, ¿cómo estás? How are you? And, oh, hey grandma. And she's like, yeah, like, are you still going to church? Always the first question. Are you still going to church? Yes, grandma, I'm still going to church. See, my grandmother was always praying. I don't know, but I think most grandmothers, or Mexican grandmothers, always praying. Constantly. Right? If you come into my house, right? You come into my house now, you're going to see Jesus all over the place. And that's because of my mom, right? I have Jesus, of course, a few times. I have Jesus over here, Jesus right behind me. I have Saint Joseph appeared. Jesus is also right here behind me as well. You know, we have Jesus all over the place. We have Jesus with the family. We have Jesus. We have baby Jesus, right? And then we have baby or Jesus, right? A little smaller Jesus. And then my mom has a little kind of little area of like sanctuary with Jesus and Jesus and Jesus and Jesus. Here we have this like life-size cross. It's like probably about this big, about this thick. Jesus. You know? And man, my grandmother was probably the most like influential part of me continuing my faith. And I loved it. Loved it every bit of it. And when I lost her, I lost something. There's a hole in my heart still to this day, because I unfortunately didn't get to say goodbye to her. I didn't see her. I hadn't endured her. I haven't given her a hug, given her a kiss and say I love you. Her time. And I know that she's up there praying for me. You know, cooking for Jesus. But I know that she is the reason why I am in my faith. This is what women of God do to you. It will show you and endure that, you know, Jesus is the way. Jesus is the way. The ninth station. Jesus falls for the third time. So you mean to tell me, not once, not twice, but 3 times this man fell? That's incredible. It seems unreal because it's Jesus, right? It seems like that's something that we can't endure in our lives, or it just sounds so hard to believe that Jesus fell, right? But again, we have to remember that Jesus was a man. So, right, how many times do we fall, right? We fall tremendously amount of times, like way too many times. Way too many times. But what's the difference between Jesus falling and then us falling? What's the difference? Well, Jesus got up every single time. Every single time. With help or without help, he got up. So what that tells us about us? As humans, we tend to do what more? We tend to fall and sometimes just kind of stay down. Right? And just be like, I'm good. I like it down here. Yeah, it feels better. The view's nice from over here. No. We do that because it's easier than getting up and continuing on. But we do it. It's just, it happens. Now, some of us get up a lot faster. Some of us take our time, or some of us unfortunately just don't give up at all. But then when we do get up, it becomes easier. Right? So think of this station like, I have this metaphor. You haven't used it in a while, but remember the game Angry Birds, right? So think of that. Think of Angry Birds. Think of how it starts, how it works out, right? So the purpose of that is to get the eggs, but to get to the eggs, there's what? Obstacles, right? Obstacles, and then in their case, they had obstacles, and they also had the little pigs that stole from them, right? Well, we have other people, and we have other things that get in our ways. So for each level, you had to what? Knock the stuff out and get through the obstacle. The first one was, right, they had the little red bird, little fat red bird. For the most part, did a good job, right? But then what did you notice? The levels started to get what? More difficult, right? So we started to have to figure out, I'm going to throw higher, I'm going to go at this angle. But the game gives you tools. And what were those tools? Well, different birds, right? So you kind of get where I'm going, right? So God gives us these tools that we also have that we can endure. And that's what it is. And we have to use them. If we don't use them, they're just going to sit there. Right? All these tools that we carry are each for a different purpose. And for reaching that new level. You notice things start to get harder in your life, it's because you reached a new level. Obviously, Jesus' circumstance was a little different. But I think a lot of times we tend to crucify ourselves too. Right? We tend to just kind of fall into place. Yeah. Yeah. 10th station. Jesus is stripped of his clothing. So okay, so you nearly beat this guy to death. You put a crown on his head of thorns, and you made him carry this 200-pound cross, and now he has to walk it to where he's being crucified. Not only is that not enough, you gotta take his clothes. We took that last bit of dignity that he had, just that last tiny bit of it. We took it just right there. You know, we go through life when there's people that really don't have clothes. Like genuinely don't have clothes. How many times have we taken people's dignity? I'll tell you one. The confirmation kids would always tell me, well, Jerry, you know, I've never killed anyone. I'm like, good that you haven't killed anyone. But how many times have you killed that person by gossiping or talking bad about them? Yeah. They're like, oh, wait, what? Yeah. So you're killing them. They're who they are from the inside. You're ripping what's holding them together. And a lot of times we don't pay attention when we're doing that. You know, Jesus literally had this ounce of clothes. Like that was his last it. Society, social media. Oh, there we go. Another one. Social media is just something that will destroy you. I genuinely wish that social media never existed. And that's from the bottom of my heart, and to the cases of everything and the stuff that I just know that if social media didn't exist, we would be in a much better and happier place. And I know a lot of us go to social media to escape and find that happy place, but social media is mean. It's mean. It's mean. So we have to be very, very careful how we talk to each other on there. Very, very careful. 11th station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. Now, this one is probably very gruesome for a lot of people because they don't. If you watch The Passion of the Christ, it's pretty. Yeah. So as you saw, right, the cross was a little bigger than him, so they nailed him right to the hands, but they had to his hand didn't reach as far, right? So they had to pull his socket out and so his hand can reach to the hole and pop him. And then they had to tie their hands because what was happening is that we have our hands are pretty much like just like cartilage and like muscle. We do have bones obviously, but very little. So our hands would slide out when they would. So they had to tie him up. So just imagine just enduring that pain. But it's, you know, that was the the cherry on the ice cream. Just like it, like boom, like that was it. And it, you know, I think a lot of times we don't realize it, but when we start demeaning each other, when we start classifying each other as a certain thing, we start putting each other in like categories, we're taking that pride and we're taking that last ounce of what we have and who we are as humans. When Jesus was crucified, he was literally nailed to a cross. And I know there's other countries where that's happened. And I'm very blessed to live in this country where I can actually celebrate my religion, my faith. I can endure it, I can express it to everyone. But they didn't have that chance. So we have to be very, very, very humble and very thankful that we are able to endure things like this now. Because there is still to this day people being crucified for believing in something and not in something else. We have to learn to love each other and just do everything out of love. You know, my mom always taught me, and all greater mothers have taught me, that if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Literally, don't say anything. You don't always have to have the last word. Quietness can be like the greatest weapon ever. Patience too. That's another thing we have to practice, patience. The 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. So this, you know, it makes it very, very, very difficult to pray for people, and very difficult to accept everyone. And I'm being as real and as blunt as I can with you guys, and I'm not perfect, nor do I ever choose to be perfect. If I died today, I knew I wouldn't be going to heaven. I'll probably end up in purgatory, make up for the sins that I've done, for the things that I will do. And I know that I will be in there for a while, hoping one day that I do go to heaven. Now, just because I've accepted that doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to do better. And that's why I try to do the best that I can and be the best man that I can. With my weaknesses, with my surroundings. I know that one day, and I hope and pray that the day that I meet God, I choose to do better. I know that the day will come that, well, you know, I don't know when the day's going to come, but it will. And it's going to be scary. But it's something that I know that if God himself says, you know what, you need to spend a little time in purgatory before you come in here, I'll do it. I'll do whatever I have to do to go to heaven. Heaven is not a place where you can just get in and, you know, slip them a 20. Like, no, like it's not, you know, this is a place where you're just going to be for eternity. It's a place that I want to be. I want to be able to see everyone. But we endure these things, and these are our challenges that we have. Jesus dying on the cross is probably like in the same time, because of what was happening and because how we are. Unfortunately, this was the only thing, the only way to get us to believe and to change our ways. That was it. He walked around, he preached to everyone, he talked to everyone, did miracles left and right. And people still yet doubted him to this day. I just hope that he has mercy, especially for me, and he lets me in his doors, because I want to spend my rest of my life with him. The 13th station, Jesus is taken down from the cross. So at this point, right, Mary is trying to hold him was like the most soft. You know when you hold a baby for like the first time, like that, but like just gentle and just trying to like put everything in perspective that this just happened. Something that she never expected it were to happen. You know, we have a lot of parents that have unfortunately had to bury their own children. In high school, I lost a few baseball buddies. You know, I wasn't super close to them, but, you know, because of baseball, I got close to them. I lost a few other friends after that, you know? And it's just something that I never thought in my life I'd have to endure. Another thing that I lost in my life is some of you guys know or don't know. I posted a picture back in February. I lost my son. I was with my ex-girlfriend, and it just it it took me a while to accept what happened. I don't understand why it happened, and I may never. But I accepted. I had to, because you know it was a trial. It was, me and obviously I said my ex-girlfriend. We went our own ways, and it became very hard because I was holding everything in, like tremendously holding everything in. I didn't talk. I chose not to talk to anyone about this. People knew that it happened. It took a while for me to understand or to accept what happened. And to know that He is up there with God, waiting for me till the day I go up there. And I know that He is praying for me. I've had to had a lot of people remind me that your son is praying for you. Your son is up there doing what he needs to be doing. And for the longest, and it was very difficult because I didn't talk to my parents. I didn't talk to my sister. I didn't talk to my best friends about it. I didn't talk to anyone about it till like almost a year later. I broke down. I got into big fights with my family. I took it on the wrong people because I didn't talk. And it teared us, It teared me. And I pray for him. I do. I hope to see him one day. His name is Joseph, by the way. I hope to see him one day, and I hope to be with him. I hope to endure and be happy with him and get to work with him. The last station. Jesus is laid into the tomb. I could only imagine what I wouldn't be able to actually imagine what Mary was thinking when she saw her baby boy being laid in the tomb. I think as a mother, you are affected the most out of anyone, and you start to see those things. So, and as someone that deeply cares about, what happens to everyone, really, I wear my heart on my sleeve sometimes, a lot of times actually, and I always mourn people's deaths. I don't know why I do. I just do. When Kobe passed, that hit me so hard I couldn't believe it. I was crying. you know, and then found out that it was more than just Kobe. Like, it was, you know, these kids, his daughter, and the families. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I looked at my parents, and my parents were so distraught of what happened. The fact that there was families in there. I just recently lost one of an old family friends of ours. She just recently lost her baby. And I'm praying for you, Sophia. I'm praying for you every day. May you rest in peace. She lost her baby to cancer, and just that, even as well, like the fact that she has to endure that as well. And it's something that, again, it's, you know, it's hard because as humans, when we have to accept that someone's not here anymore, we get very negative. We turn inside out. We go where we're not supposed to go, and that's away from God. Sometimes we do go to God, but we don't receive what we need. I'm sorry, we don't receive what we want, and a lot of the times it's receiving that is, we need to look for what we need. And it's always wants. I want this, I want that, and I know that life isn't fair, and it's never going to be fair. It's never going to be easy. It's always going to be hard. It's always going to be a challenge. But I think if we learn to appreciate everything every single day, and these moments, and this fact that, you know, I know this virus has become huge in so many aspects, and I know the virus. It's okay. So the virus is real, right? There's tons of viruses that can kill us, and this is just a new virus, right? We just have to be careful, you know. And it's become very scary because it's like the media always puts out so much negativity. The news always puts out so much negativity of like how many deaths. And it's like, we don't, you know, what about the recovering? Like, there's people that recover from this, and not everyone's gonna die from this. And that's what's the scary part, is that, and then we don't turn to our resource. We don't turn into our source that brings us up, that gives us life. And you know what? And I know that this video is gonna get a lot of, you know, disagreements to what I say, and I'm not here to prove you wrong. I'm not. I'm just giving you my life experiences with everything. You know, yes, the virus can seem very scary. I agree. You know, I'm taking my precautions. I'm washing my hands, and, you know, not going out as much as I shouldn't. You know, I go to work, I come home, I stay home because, you know, my mom, you know, your mom says do it, you know, and I try to just do my part, you know. And I know people, trust me, I wish I could just walk out and go for a long bike ride, you know, but I know little we have to just kind of do our parts and just be humble and take this as a learning experience, you know. And what this is, a learning experience. It is. That's just point blank. It's a learning experience. Whatever we take from this, just take it and learn from it. You know, our lives from here on out are going to be completely different. Our society lives outside of home are going to be so different. It's not going to go back to the way it was. It might, but I think it's going to be very, very slow and progressive into finally going back into, you know, being how we used to be. If not, we need to be better. At the end of the day, we just got to be better. That's it. But, you know, we have to stop throwing trash on the ground. That's another thing. We're destroying what God gave us. We need to be able to take care of this. We need to. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed what I talked to you guys a little bit. And maybe got a little better understanding on what's happening. If you guys have any questions, something was unclear, send me a message. I would love to talk to you guys about this. And yeah, so I'm going to lead you guys in just a closing prayer. I know this entire time we've been praying, so just a closing prayer. So in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us today. The opportunity of life. The opportunity of being together in your homes. I know that some of us are... I know that I can be very disobedient. Um, And I know that some people as well can be very disobedient. But Lord, I ask that you just continue to guide us and fulfill us with your love. Show us to love in our daily lives. Show us to express this love. Show us to love each other. Show us to endure whatever we're going to take, we can take. And know that with you on our side, we will win. Lord, I ask that you continue us to allow us to be walking tabernacles. Fulfill us with your Holy Spirit, Lord. I know we can't receive communion right now, but give us that spiritual communion that we've been looking for and that we've been aching. I know for a lot of us, especially me, it's been a low blow when they closed your church because of the situation. And sometimes it's very difficult to find yourself in a place where you don't feel like you're at home, or a place where it's not quiet. But Lord, I ask that even in those loudest moments, you continue to reach out to us and you continue to call us closer to you. I pray that you guys stay safe. I pray that you guys show each other love. Please, please, please be safe out there. It's a crazy time, but I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I love you guys. And I'll speak to you guys soon. I will see you guys soon, and I'll keep you guys updated. And I will post something tomorrow too, just to kind of check on you guys and hope you guys are doing well. Love you guys. God bless. Be safe.